I never knew that God could use others around me to help me through my journey, but I believe that He did. He used the people around me to push me through, just get that gentle push. My journey with obsessive compulsive disorder started when I was about 14 years old. I found that in high school it was just little fears in my mind that would swirl around, and I would sort of jump in and grab or think about these things over and over. And it was specifically to do with germs. So I would be worried about being dirty, and I would be worried about germs, what was on my skin, and I sort of began to focus on things that I hadn't really focused on when I was a child. I sort of noticed that as I got older, the thoughts and the patterns and fears in my mind would get bigger and bigger and stronger, and I began to feel the need to do certain behaviours to release the anxiety that I was feeling. And so even after going to the toilet, I would wash my hands for so long. Like, I'd wash my hands would get red and raw. I would wash my arms, and I actually also washed all the way up to my shoulders as well. So it was quite big and quite a big part of my life. Yeah, it was just really quite difficult. It was a huge cycle in my mind that began to sort of spiral out of control, like the more I did it and the older I got. And it ended up sort of getting to the point where I had to do all of these behaviours to release myself from the anxiety that was in my mind. In 2019, I ended up getting referred by my local GP to the anxiety disorders clinic, and that was absolutely fantastic for me. I ended up going through some therapy sessions in which we unpacked the biological understandings of obsessive compulsive disorder, and that was so eye-opening for me, learning how God had created my brain, and that He had made me whole. There wasn't anything wrong with me, but it was all in my head. So after the sessions, I was able to actually I found that a lot of the things shifted in my life. It was really cool because I was able to let go of some of the thoughts that I had been thinking, let go of some of the patterns. It was really reassuring for me. I ended up feeling a huge release after that. The behaviours were still present, I think, in parts of my life, but I feel like it was a real relief for me getting help and getting the help that I needed. And I could see that God really helped me through getting that help. I never knew that God could use others around me to help me through my journey, but I believe that He did. He used the people around me and the help and the psychiatrists that knew their stuff to push me through, just get that gentle push, knowing that God was with me the whole way in the process, reassured me and made me know that God was the one who had opened up the sessions for me. And it made me appreciate the beauty of God and how God had designed our brains. So earlier this year, I ended up going on a retreat with some friends away to Hamner. I actually joked with God. I said to him, I was like, God, I'm here, I would love it if I could have some prayer for this obsessive compulsive disorder because it's been such a big part of my life. And I thought nothing of it. I was like, no, he's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna result in anything. I'll just go and, we'll see what happens. Anyways, so this lady comes up to the front and she has this prophetic word. And I ended up going up and getting prayer. The lady who I was praying with actually noticed my hands and because we were holding hands, and she held on my hands and she said, oh, you got red hands. And I was like, yeah. And I said to her, I was like, I've got OCD. She asked me if I wanted to get prayer for it, just randomly. And I was like, oh yeah, I would love prayer for it. And at this time I was like, oh my gosh, God has answered my prayer. And I wasn't expecting it. So that was really cool. We prayed through the process. We prayed through the identity that I had spoken over myself in OCD, the label of OCD as well. We sort of just prayed that off and we broke it off. And that was really significant for me because I had always hated saying that I had OCD. Over the past 6 years as I've been journeying with this, God has just gently been shaping and touching on my identity and who I am in Him. And Jesus has sort of been changing the way I thought about myself and who I am in Him and who I am in God. Where there was a root, the root is now gone. Where there was thinking in patterns of behaviour, I was able to change the behaviour patterns. I am a daughter of God. God has created me whole. He's created me fully. And it was so amazing to journey through that, through both ways. Through getting the help that I needed to have that push to learn more about the ways I was thinking, but also having a really soft, lovely encounter with God, where it was easy as praying with someone and breaking off the words that I'd spoken over myself. So it was sort of, for me, walking through OCD and the journey of OCD, I am so thankful because I can see God through the whole process, and it's such a beautiful process from start to finish, where He's just gently guided and gently, He's given me the things that I needed to journey through and to process through things, and to carry on and to learn how to change the behaviours. I feel like He is bringing out things in me, and He's changing and shaping who I am. He's moving the old, He's taking all the old away, and He's helping me to become more of who I am and who He's created me to be, rather than the way the world thinks and the way that I think about myself.